Good morning, Year 6, and happy 21st of May. Very happy today, obviously. Don't know why, but it's obviously going to be a good day. Let's see what we've got involved. So, chapters 3 and 4 of Wolf Brother. Cracking on with some more ratio with Mrs. Perry. Once again, if you haven't done Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays ratio bits, go back and do them first, because this is step number 4 in ratio. So it's important that you do the build-up stuff before today's work, otherwise it'd be really, really hard. In Spag, we've got our treasure hunt, which is ongoing until tomorrow. So today and tomorrow are your last days to do the Spag treasure hunt. And in English, we're doing our narrative description. Like I've said 1,000,001 times before, don't do it all on one day. Take time to plan and edit and look back at your work to make sure it's perfect. So if you haven't started it yesterday, definitely start it today so you can edit and look at it tomorrow. But other than that, enjoy and yeah, have a good morning.
Hello Year 6. Today you're going to read chapter 3 and 4 of Wolf Brother. There's 2 chapters today because chapter 4 is really, really tiny and chapter 3 isn't that big, so together they make just about the right amount of reading. You may remember that at the end of chapter 2 that you read yesterday, Tarek had a very difficult decision to make, whether to kill the cub to eat or not, and so you'll find out in chapter 3 and 4 what he did about that and what happened next. So I hope you enjoy those chapters, and then the questions will be on the next page. Hope you enjoyed your reading today. Here are your questions to go with what you've read today. Just one thing to have a little think about with you. In question 4 we've got the word metaphor. Can you remember what metaphor means? Metaphor is when the writer says that something is something and actually it couldn't be because it doesn't quite make sense. So if you said the clouds are candy floss, now obviously they're not really candy floss, that's not true, but it's the writer's way of trying to show you what they're like. If the writer had said the clouds were like candy floss, that's then a simile, because the writer's saying they were like them, but metaphor is stronger than that, you say they actually are them. So if I said somebody's hair was straw, that's a metaphor, because obviously the hair isn't really straw, but I'm saying that it is to try and put a picture in your mind of what the hair was like. Okay, so that's metaphor when you get to question 4. Good luck with your questions today, and the answers will be on the next page. Here are your answers for today's questions. Did you find the metaphor about the arms turning to water? Obviously his arms didn't really turn to water, it's just the writer trying to put a picture in your mind of what it was like. Have a look at those answers and see how you got on with those today. Okay, Year 6, we're going to move on to some maths now, and we're starting with some skills practice. You've got a selection of all different types of questions here today. Remember on these that you need to line your digits up very carefully, make sure you're using your place value. On this one, you're going to use your bus stop. You need to make a list of your 14 times table down the side to help you. When you add fractions, the denominators need to be the same. So at the moment, these are not ready for adding. Hopefully you can remember what you have to do there. When you're dividing by a power of 10, so 10 or 100 or 1,000, you don't need your bus stop. You just quickly slide the numbers along, which we've practiced doing a lot in school. Clue here for multiplying by a whole number, fraction by a whole number. Remember that whole numbers are actually, you can write them as fractions. If you put the line here and then on your denominator you would have a 1. So 4 whole ones is 4 over 1. And then your multiplication is very straightforward, numerator times the numerator and denominator times the denominator, which would be a 1 by now. Finding 42%, have a little think how you would do it and then I'll tell you. 42%, quickest way is probably to find 10%, which you do by sliding your numbers along divided by 10. You're then going to need 4 of those to have 40%. 2%, nice quick way, find 1%, which is divide by 100, so slide your numbers along twice, divide by 100, that will give you 1%, and whatever that comes to, you actually need 2 of them, don't you? And then pop your answers together at the end to give you the 42%. So good luck with your skills practice today, guys, and the answers will be on the next page. Here are the answers to your skills practice. How did you get on with those today? If we look here, we made the denominator 28, 7 times 4 is 28. Whatever we do to the denominator, we do to the numerator to match. So that will have times by 4 to make 16, and that would have times by 7 to make 21. So you were doing 16 add 21 comes to 37 over 28. Because 37 is more than 28, you've got enough for a whole one in there, haven't you? Because 28 add 28 will give you a whole one. So here's your whole one. If you've got 28 at 28, then you've got another 9 left. So the final answer will be 1 whole 1 and 9 over 28. If you gave this as your final answer, that's absolutely fine. In a maths test, if you were asked to give your final answer as a mixed number, you would then do this at the end. Hope you got on well with those today, folks. And we're going to go on to the main lesson. So you've been looking at ratio this week. This is the last of your ratio lessons, and we're going to learn to calculate with ratio, so actually using it to do some calculations. The video that you're going to watch today, the learning video, is here, so you need to go to there, and it will look like this when you get there because you're calculating ratio. Now, the video, about halfway through it, pauses and it asks you to do question 1 to 6, which you will have on the next page or you have in your learning booklet. I actually think question 1 to 5 are quite doable, and hopefully you can all do question 1 to 5. Question 6 does get a little bit trickier, so just try it, have a go, don't worry too much if that's a bit tough. Now the second half of the video, it does get a little bit more complicated, and so the second page of the work is a little bit more challenging. Please don't worry if you can't do that. What I would like to think is that you can all watch the first part of the video and do questions 1 to 5. If you can do some more after that, that's great, but if you can't, please don't worry because it does get a little bit more complicated. But hopefully you can all do 1 to 5 today. So I hope you enjoy your learning video, and when you've watched it, you'll be ready for your work. Hope you enjoyed your learning video, and here are the first 5 questions from that video. I would advise you with ratio to draw little pictures to help you. You saw pictures on the video, and it's a topic in maths where it's so helpful to draw little pictures, so do that if you need to help you. Hope you're okay with these questions. If you then want to go on to the next ones, you would need to watch the rest of the video and have a go at the ones on the next page. As I said, don't worry if they're a bit tough, but I would like to think that you can do these ones. Good luck with those then, and then there's some more on the next page if you need it. So here's the second part of the work. Now I think this is quite a little bit trickier, so please don't worry if you're not going to manage this today, you can just leave it, but some of you I know might like to have a go. When you get to here, look out please, because it changes from litres into millilitres, and we did have a lesson on that some time ago about litres and millilitres, and there is 1,000 millilitres in a litre, don't forget, that might help you today. Good luck with these questions, and the answers will follow. So here are the answers for questions 1 to 5. Hope you got on okay with those. And if you did manage to go on to the next part as well, here are the answers for those. They were quite tricky, don't worry if they didn't work out today, but if they did, very big well done to you. Hope you've enjoyed your ratio work. That is the end of that topic for now, and we'll be going on to something else tomorrow. Bye for now, Year 6.
So my lovelies, on the back of what we did last week for our SSATs, our silly, slightly academic tasks, I have done for you a spag treasure hunt. I thought I'd do it this week because obviously next week is half term, so I won't get a chance to do it then, and then goodness knows what's happening. So this is what you're looking for. These signs have changed. Most of them have changed position as well. So you're looking for big A4 laminated sheets that look like these, but without the blue boxes in. As you're going around, you just need to take a piece of paper and a pencil with you. If you see anybody else doing their treasure hunt, definitely say hello, definitely give them a wave, but remember your social distancing. Don't go up and give them a big hug, you know, keep that social distance, just say hello from the other side of the street. Be sensible and ideally take somebody with you. Don't go roaming around by yourself. I have done for you, so because a lot of the questions are tick sentences, I've labeled, the sentences that you can choose from, A, B, C, D. So on your piece of paper, I just write down question 1, answer, and then A, to save you writing out the full sentence, because that's a bit of a faff. Here is your map for this week. Definitely screenshot it or take a mobile phone if you've got this video up, but if you screenshot it, it saves your internet. Zoom in, have a look at where these points are. Hopefully they won't get moved. I'm pretty impressed that all of the arithmetic ones stayed up as well all week, which is really, really lovely. Find all 15 questions and then your answers have a look at when you get back home. So screenshot that page. Oh, by the way, these will be up till Friday as well. Possibly Saturday if I forget to take them down on Friday like I did last week. Oops. But yes, so these will be up all week for you to pick and choose, do a few one day and a few the next if you need to. Okie dokie, and then to find the answers for your treasure hunt. So you go to the Year 6 Padlet page. There is a link on the front of your PDF document and at the end of this video if you want to go there. And the answers are here. So I've made a new column called Spag Treasure Hunt, and the answers are on this comment here by the moderator account, the Year 6 account. So it may be pushed further down the page if people write above it. So if other people can add on and say how you've done, or if you've lost a marker or whatever. So people can write on comments. It might be further down. You might have to scroll down on this column, but it's there. You're looking for the PDF document, download it, and that's got all the answers on. But don't do that until you've finished it, because otherwise you'll reveal the answers to yourself, and that would be pointless. But other than that, guys, enjoy, have fun. Once again, if you are at home or shielding, or you live away from Brereton, the questions are on the PDF document as well. So you can download that, have a look at questions, and ask someone to hide them around your house for you and do them that way if you would prefer. But other than that, enjoy Year 6. Let me know how you got on. So what we're going to do is we're going to write a descriptive narrative about that storyline. So you can draft up a storyline mountain a bit like this. Think about the opening. How does the story open? What's the build-up? What's the dilemma? How is it resolved? And the ending. Don't worry too much about these dealies. You can think about similes and things if you want, but don't worry about them too much. Think about emotions as you go through, but really what I want you to think about is this bit. The opening to the ending. What happens there? So pause this video, have a think about it, jot it down on a piece of paper, make yourself a bit of a map, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, so the opening is that there is a boy and he's bewildered. So I'm not going to write on this because my fingers are too chubby to write on the screen very neatly. It's only a little screen on my laptop. So he's bewildered, so I'm going to put a question mark because he's confused. There's a lot of mess, and he's in school. The build-up is he starts to run. The teacher calls the police. He starts to collect things from the house. The dilemma, that's where we find out that he's being chased by the police. And he gets a bike at one point. And, oh, that should really be resolution, ignore me. So he uses the bike to get away from being chased by the police. And he tries things like a disguise and the hats and things. And then in the ending, he uses his supernatural powers. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to write this mini story into a descriptive narrative. I'm going to give you some examples of that as well as we go along to give you an idea of what I'm looking for. So, as you are writing, I want you to think about powerful description. How are you going to describe that video? Think about how much money and time and effort has gone into creating that music video, and you're now going to try and capture that on the page. So you need to think about description. On your PDF document, I've put loads and loads of descriptive pages of language that you might like to use, or words or key vocab that you can magpie from. So definitely look on the PDF to help you with this bit. If you can think of your own, perfect, add that in. I want you to think about showing, just telling. So sometimes when we get writing, before we've started warming up, you will tell me, for example, he was nervous. Okay, you've told me that he's nervous, now show it me. Try language like he could barely think straight. The overpowering pounding of his heart overwhelmed all senses. Okay, so that's telling me that his heart is beating. So it's not, you're not saying he was nervous. You're telling me that his heart was beating, and because I'm a semi-intelligent person, I can assume that he's either run a marathon or he's very nervous. Wiping the beads of sweat from his shaking hands, he edged out of the chaotic school corridor. So if he's edging out, he's nervous, he's creeping. Chaotic school corridor, that's telling me it's a mess. Shaking hands, nervousness, sweat. You sweat when you're nervous. So all these things are showing me that he's nervous instead of just telling me. Think about creating atmosphere. You guys are really, really good at this. I loved, do you remember when we did those narrative pieces on the Francis animation, the spooky story? You guys did a fabulous job on that. So here, especially when he's running and he's being chased by the police and he's almost being caught, you want to create that quick, rapid fire reading element. So short, sharp sentences, one or two after the other. Get rid of conjunctions, so use your semicolons or colons or commas to make those sentences short and snappy. So we just want those clauses as themselves, no flouncy bits. But remember, you can't make the whole thing like that, otherwise it is really tedious for your reader. So think, right, which bits am I most panicked? How can I make them panic for the reader? And make sure they are, and then elaborate everything else. You want to change that rhythm of the reading. Okay, you guys are really, really good at that, so I'm excited to see how they work out. And emotion. There are so many emotions portrayed. Lots of fear, some anger, all really powerful emotions that you can describe beautifully. Think really carefully, how can you effectively encapsulate, how can you portray that information, how can you show that information well in your writing. So to help you with this, there are 2 examples from Year 6 pupils in your PDF document. They've done the same. They're good. I wouldn't say they were as good as your guys' writing. There are some spelling mistakes. There are some punctuation mistakes. So I don't know if you spot those as you go through, because these were written by your 6s. Please can I point out the gorgeous handwriting though? If you're handwriting these, make sure your handwriting is stunning. Both of these have got lovely handwriting. So as you read through these examples, to give you a bit of a start and idea, think about these 2 questions. Is there anything you want to magpie? Feel free to do that. And what makes it effective? These stories are good. So what makes them good? Look through what have they used that helps them make it an effective, powerful piece of writing. When you have done these, please share them with me either via email or Padlet. I'm very excited to read them. So I hope you enjoy. You don't have to do these all today. You can do a little bit of your planning to begin with today, and then go on and do a little bit extra. So take your time with it. I want it to be really, really good. And that is it, my lovelies, for today. I hope you've had a lovely Thursday, last day tomorrow before half term. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. Don't forget all the usual bits. If you've got any extra time and you want to crack on with some extra bits of learning, please do. Let Mrs. Perry and I know when you do, and we'll give you a little well done and a kudos and a little shout out for that. Don't forget to shout out your learning on Padlet, and the answers to the Spag Treasure Hunt are on that link as well. So enjoy your evening, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye.